in the last couple of weeks, it's all about the judiciary and matters within the judiciary, especially with respect to the head of the judiciary, Justice Torkornoo. Following her suspension, we've seen a lot of actions. We've seen a lot of development. And yesterday, we discussed actions dismissed by the Supreme Court. Then there is a petition also seeking the dissolution of the committee hearing the petitions.
Right.
And so on your screens now is one of the petitions that has become very topical and very controversial in the manner in which it is. So this is a petition supposedly, I'm saying, choosing my words very carefully because there's a standard procedure that when you petition any office or state institutions and it is received, we should see a stamp of that institution showing receipt of that particular petition. But all we can see is some writings that shows that Jubilee House, 19th of May 2025, then it gives the date that it was supposedly received on the 16th of 4:13 p.m. So let me give you the title of the petition here. It says that petition for the dissolution of committee formed under Article 1466 of the 1992 Constitution to inquire into petitions against the Chief Justice. And so that was the heading. So you notice that it started with RE, meaning it's a response. So what does the petition say? The petition gave a background to what is happening now and then stated the members of the committee. Director, let's move. And stated the members of the committee hearing that particular petition. In fact, yes, petitions chaired by Justice Gabriel Puamang.
Yeah.
And when you listen or you read the petition and the reasons the petitioner is petitioning the presidency, it's very interesting. So now let's pause here. This is the place of focus. You notice that the first time the committee sat was on the 15th of May. That was Thursday, a week yesterday.
Yes.
That was the first time the committee sat. And when the committee sat, the Lady Chief Justice, who's currently suspended, did not appear. Her lawyers appeared, and the committee was not happy with that. And subsequently, a subpoena was issued. And let me also put on record that it is an in-camera hearing.
Yes.
So whatever we share with you are based on information that we have picked. Now, after that day, the petitioner is saying that in the evening of the 15th of May,
that same Thursday.
That same Thursday. So the evening of the Thursday, the first day that the committee had its maiden sitting, the petitioner made this reference that in the evening of May 15, 2025, between the hours of 7:30 and 8:30 p.m., that one, there's no official work happening within the judiciary, so the court had closed. Justice Gabriel Puamang, pay attention to the names that have been mentioned in this petition. Justice Gabriel Puamang and Justice Samuel Adibu Esiedu, together with Justice GHOne Kolendi of the Supreme Court of Ghana, were seen having dinner with the counsel for one of the petitioners before the committee and makes the name as Tadio Sorry at a restaurant in Accra Airport Residential. And said the strange meeting of the four persons who are keenly interested and having played and indeed continue to play critical roles initiated in the processes for the removal of the Chief Justice excite the curiosity of some persons in the restaurant. Indeed, they were overheard discussing matters relating to the petition. And let me add this paragraph. Respectfully, the record of the presence of the four justices, Puamang, GHOne Kolendi, Samuel Esiedu, and lawyer Tadio Sorry at the restaurant and the meeting they had can easily be verified and confirmed. So, in all of things, the petitioner is making the point that if you look at the committee, there are two justices of the Supreme Court and the chair is Justice Puamang. So these members who are of focus and belong to this committee had a meeting together with another judge and then Tadio Sorry, who is lawyer for one of the petitioners. and makes the point that the video can't confirm to that. So effort has been made to get copy of the video. I'm asked to put it that way.
Right.
So director, let's check the video that is in circulation that we've had of procured and we want to share with you. Great. So from this view, director, can you pause for me? So from this view, you can see 3 men walk in. 1 in a plain cloth and 2 in suits. Great. So the one in plain cloth is Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, currently the president of the Association of Magistrates and Judges of Ghana. His birth date is May 14, 2025.
Oh.
That was when he celebrated
his
64th birthday. Thursday. And then the committee sat on.
So that was Wednesday.
That was the day.
And then the committee sat on Thursday.
15th. Absolutely. So the birthday was on a Wednesday. Last week, Wednesday. Not just this week, the following week. So those are the 3. And then the tallest among them is Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi. He is in the middle. Then the one on this side is Justice Samuel Adibu Esiedu. Director, let's move on. So they walked in. So as they are moving, we see 3 people moving. Great. So at this particular point in time, director, let's pause again. We can see them clearly finding their way into where their seat is or their table is. On the front here is Justice Henry Anthony Kofi. So director, let's move. Following closely is Justice Samuel Esiedu. Let's pause here again. That's Justice Samuel Esiedu here. And then Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi also in this particular. So already Justice Henry Anthony Kofi has taken the lead. And where he was passing, we could see some 2 men seated, right?
With shiny heads.
With shiny heads. I don't know why. I don't want to go there. So we see 2 men seated. And Justice Henry Anthony Kofi just walked. And because he's not in suit, he's not, sometimes it's very difficult to identify. And a lot of people I know at this particular point they will not even notice. They don't have public life. So sometimes you'll be surprised when you see them around. So let's move and let me show you something. So let's pause again. So at this particular point in time, Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi followed the route of Justice Henry Anthony Kofi. Then Justice Samuel Esiedu also take the other side. Okay, let's progress. Then, okay, let's pause again. Then we realize that Kote Jani, who noticed the presence of Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi, and Yoni Kulendi, before his appointment to the Supreme Court, has never been a judge. He was a private legal practitioner. Right. So he was just picked straight to the Supreme Court. Now, had a chit-chat, shook hands, then realizes that Thaddeus Sorry was seated there, and then acknowledged him, stood up, exchanged hands, and then there was a hug again. And then they had some brief conversation. There was some brief interaction between the 3 of them. Then he moved straight to where the others were. Then his attention was drawn to the fact that there are some other more judges or justices who were there. And as practice, between the bar and then the bench, anytime they meet each other, you see that bow. So Thaddeus Sorry has a handshake with Justice Esiedu, took a bow, then comes back again to have a handshake with Justice Henry Anthony Kofi. Then we realized that as he turns, he realized that Justice Yoni Kulendi was having a conversation with a group. He turns again, acknowledged that there was some kind of brief joke shared there, and then there was that smile. Then Thaddeus Sorry moves back to his seat with Kote Jani. The petitioner is saying there's a video that shows a meeting. So now look at this. See where the justices have their seats, and where we have Thaddeus Sorry and then Mr. Jani seated. So the question is that a meeting? So a meeting that was supposed to discuss the content of the petitions will last, it's less than
a minute.
A minute,
yes.
If you call it.
The interaction,
yes.
I think so, 59 seconds.
So what relevance or what will be the importance of conversation that we have between that time? And if you want to even put things in much more perspective, where Tadiosori's seat is and where the judges are, that is where, are you saying that is where they will have the interaction? Or there's another video that we are not privy to?
Right. Because the petitioner also mentioned that even those around could hear them discussing.
But what we have now, we could not hear them. But what is even key is that the petition made mention of the fact that Justice Gabriel Puaman, who is the chairman of the committee, was also there. The judges that we have mentioned, we have identified in the video that was made public, there's no Justice Gabriel Scott Puaman in there. So the people of interest here, and among the people seated there, we have not seen any of the petitioners, whether it's Kotejani, because as we speak, we don't even know the content of the petitions and all of that. We have heard issues being discussed, but I'm not sure we have heard the name of Mr. Jani in there. So Joshua Kojo Mensah, that is what the video procured is telling us. So if we just juxtapose this one to the petition that has been sent, purportedly sent to the president, I use the words because there's no official stamp or seal to show that that is officially received or that has gotten to the quarters that we are being told has happened. So the question that we are asking now is that if a meeting is supposed to, and look at the setting, are you really sure that the judges and the lawyers will just walk in public like this where everybody is seated, having fun, having meal or eating? They won't know that these are judges who have a case of this sensitivity will come out in a public like this and have that conversation. But it is for you to judge. We are only sharing with you what the video is telling us, juxtaposing that one with the petition that has been sent. And so that is it for this whole controversial case. That
I know Tadiosori has also been reacting to the petitioner.
Yes. Yeah. Tadiosori has a brief reaction. And director, let's see the post from Absolutely. So this one, May 20 at 5:34, when the conversation started to gather momentum. Then he makes the point that, and this is his Facebook page, it is a monstrous lie. No such meeting took place. It is very easy to fact check that. We know those who get justice through negotiation. But he makes the point that there was no such meeting took place. But we saw Tadiosori, we saw the presence of Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi. We also saw the presence of Justice Henry Anthony Kofi and Justice Samuel Esiedu. So is that not a meeting?
But I mean, the petitioner talked about Gabriel Scott Puaman. And once Scott Puaman was not in the meeting, then so according to him, no such meeting took place. And that's it.
So it's mere coincidence that you went to a public place and then you meet somebody unexpectedly. And by practice, any member of the bar who meets any member from the bench, you show that recognition, show that respect.
You cannot ignore.
Absolutely, you cannot ignore.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
Per their standard, it's only fair that once they meet in public like that, they'll have that exchange that pleasantries. And that is what the video is telling. What it is not clear is that the video is not giving us
the audio. So we don't see that.
For us to understand.
We'll leave that to the public to make their own inference, and then we'll see how it also
very interesting one indeed. So that is it in relation to this very matter. In all of that.
Beautiful. Yesterday, the Lady Chief Justice appeared before the committee. Yes, again, it's in camera, but this is the information we are picking.
Absolutely.
That she made an appearance.
Yes. So on the 15th of May, the first time that the committee had a meeting, the Lady Chief Justice was represented by her lawyers, led by Kwabena Edukusi. And in fact, my understanding or the information that we gather was to the effect that the committee was not happy because once it is having its maiden sitting, the subject ought to be present. The subject here is the Lady Chief Justice, suspended, of course. So once that did not happen, the committee expressed its consent and made sure that the lawyers would do the needful and ensure that at the next sitting, she is present. that day, modalities for the hearing also took place in all of that. Then, in the course of the week, we understand that because the committee members or the committee is not happy with the fact that the Lady Chief Justice was not present, a subpoena was issued to ensure that she makes herself available for the second sitting. And yesterday, the understanding is that she appeared herself, and this time around, she was also being led by a former Attorney General in the person of Joseph Ayiko Otu. You notice that sometime in the very first election petition that took place, one of the lawyers who took some persons who were cited for contempt, the late Sir John Samuel Uku, he represented them, and we saw the good job that he did. It led to the court only finding them. The others who appeared, we saw that they were convicted and sentenced. So yesterday, once they appeared, they made it known to the committee that they have filed processes at the Supreme Court, and for that matter, the hearing ought to be halted for the time being. The committee also indicated that at that particular point in time, they have not received any processes from the Supreme Court yet. So adjourn the sitting to today. But my understanding is that officially, the committee has received the processes filed by the Lady Chief Justice at the Supreme Court. And hopefully today, matters will be decided as to whether to proceed or hold on until the Apex Court is done with that. And the last one is Cecilia Dapa. Yes. So the trial is ongoing. The cross-examination by the accused person. In fact, yesterday, lawyers of Patience Butchie, the 18-year-old housemaid, was the one subjecting her to cross-examination. You note that they have applied to the court and documents or interrogations that the OSP took from her and the husband was brought to the court. Yesterday, her lawyers wanted to tender that in evidence. Prosecution objected to that on the basis of relevance, but Justice Marie Louise Simmons has fixed Monday, May 26, to make a determination whether to admit that particular document that the OSP took from Madame Cecilia Dapa, which has become a subject matter in the trial of the maid, will be known. So this is what we have for you by way of court today.
Murtala, thank you so much for giving us all the updates, and do have a lovely weekend.